Hi everyone, I'm Robin LaCroix from the White River Junction VA, here today with the Healthy Teaching Kitchen. Today I'm going to be making a chicken chow mein. So this is commonly a popular recipe or order at a Chinese restaurant, and so we're showing you how to make it at home today. It's quite easy. So let's get started. I'm going to start by bringing my pan up to medium heat, and we're going to cook our chicken. So I have one chicken breast here, just diced up in kind of bite-sized pieces. And I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon of oil, and I'm using olive oil. You could use canola oil or olive oil. Whatever you have in your house will work. We're just going to bring that oil up to a shimmer. You could also make this with pork. You could make it with tofu. Kind of customize it to what works for you. And some of the other ingredients I have here, I have mushrooms and celery. The recipe also calls for a diced onion. I just I'm leaving it out based on personal preference of taste. So just showing you how to modify a recipe based on what you like. I also have sliced bamboo shoots. You can find these kind of in the ethnic section of your grocery store, and sliced water chestnuts. And I've just drained the water out of those. These are both, they're not high in sodium. They both only have 10 milligrams. So it's a nice kind of canned vegetable option that is also not salty. I also have a tablespoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of water. I have a cup of chicken broth, which I have made using a chicken broth paste. These are kind of a nice option to be able to make a broth really easily. You just do 1 teaspoon of paste for a cup of water, and it's just an easy way to get that ready. And lastly, I have some chow mein noodles. So these are kind of that crunchy, traditional Chinese noodle, and the dish gets served over these, and it adds a nice crunch to it. All right, our oil is hot here, so I'm going to get our chicken in the pan. And the chicken, will take about 7 to 8 minutes to get fully cooked. We want to make sure there's no pink, and then testing it with a meat thermometer would be a great idea as well. All right, so I have my chicken cooking away here. It's been on for about 7 minutes. It's nicely browned on the outside, and there's no pink left. I've checked its internal temperature, and it's right up to temp. So I'm going to take this off and put it in a clean bowl. Make sure you're not putting it back on the plate that had the raw chicken. And we don't even need to wash the pan. We're just going to put it right back on our burner. We'll slide the chicken to the side. And now we're going to get our onion, 1 onion, small onion diced, if you're using it, and celery. The recipe recommends cutting your celery kind of in these long, thinner slices. I'm going to get that in the pan. And about 3 to 4 sliced white button mushrooms. So this is going to cook again for another about 7 or 8 minutes. We just want our vegetables to tenderize nicely. And there's a little bit of kind of oil from the chicken left in there, so that's going to help your veggies cooking. You shouldn't have any trouble with sticking. You're probably most familiar with your pans than we are, so if you have a pan that tends to stick, you might add a little bit more oil before your veggies go in. I'm going to let those cook up there. So our celery, onions, and mushrooms have been sauteing for about 7 minutes. You'll see the celery and the onions start to get a little translucent and tender. So now we are ready to add our bamboo shoots. And water chestnuts. There. And cabbage. So the recipe calls for Napa cabbage. I'm using actually a Savoy cabbage, which again is just a little more tender than a traditional green cabbage, which is kind of similar to Napa. So I think this should work fine. You could also use bok choy if you prefer kind of that flavor and texture. So we're just going to mix this all in here. Make sure you choose a big enough pan that everything's going to fit. It will cook down quite a bit, but you do start with a good volume here. So once we have all these veggies in here, we're going to add our chicken broth. You could use vegetable broth too if you're making this with tofu and want to make it vegetarian. So 1 cup of broth. And then we're just going to bring this whole mixture up to a little simmer and let it simmer for about, again, that 7 minutes. It must be a standard in this recipe. Makes it easy. So we'll get that simmering so the cabbage tenderizes and everything gets nice and hot. Right, so this has been cooking for about 7 minutes, and the cabbage is tender. Everything is heated through. So we have a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, which almost seems like it isn't even worth it. But it's just a little bit of sweetness that balances kind of the salty flavors in here and does make a difference. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of crushed black pepper. Right, and that pepper smells good. And then we are going to take our tablespoon of water into the cornstarch. And if we were to put cornstarch in here on its own, it would kind of clump up. So definitely mix your cornstarch with water before you add it to anything you want to thicken. Just stir it up till it's nice and smooth. And then drizzle it right in here. And then you want to keep stirring once that cornstarch gets in there because it will thicken fairly quickly. It's going to give you this nice thick sauce that's going to coat your vegetables and your chicken. The nice thing about making Chinese food from home is that you get to control what goes into it. So often Chinese food that we might get out at a takeout restaurant is quite salty. It may be stir-fried in quite a bit of oil, so it can be kind of a heavier dish. Here you're getting really to control all of that. So we're going to put our chicken back in here. Give it a stir. And you could let this cook for a couple of minutes just to make sure everything's hot and the flavors are nicely blended. But it really is good to go at this point. Yum. All right, so I'm just going to serve this over my chow mein noodles. And I do like to kind of, if you were, you could have a couple of bowls here if you're making multiple servings here, save some of the noodles for later. It is nice to kind of mix up there and have those noodles in there. You could do it without the noodles as well. You could serve it over rice if that's your preference. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you give this a try. And thanks for being here with the Healthy Teaching Kitchen.